So, folks, we got to talk about the Iran war. I saw a term apparently coined by some Republican behind the scenes of the peace fire that the United States is currently engaged in with Iran. And I feel like that's relatively fitting. Despite ongoing negotiations for the ceasefire and the Memorandum of Understanding, the United States and Iran have been exchanging fire. Different military targets have been hit by both the Iranians and the US, and it is seemingly not really dying down, but there is some kind of emergency meeting taking place between the two sides on Tuesday in Doha. So that all is good to know, of course. And it is also important to understand that Israel is taking advantage of this chaos between the United States and Iran to do everything bad. And by that I mean Israel has apparently, as of a few hours ago, resumed targeting southern towns across Lebanon, and bombing has been occurring. And that also is occurring alongside bombing of Gaza. So over 10 people were killed in Gaza today. It's truly horrific. Eight people in Gaza were killed, including 2 children. 20 were injured in the explosion. And in the West Bank, violence continued as well, killing even more Palestinians. And alongside all of this, as of 5 hours ago, Israel launched a further invasion of southern Syria.
قصف على عابدين، قصف بالطيران الحربي.
أفضل انفجار اللي شفتوه هو واحدة من القذائف اللي عم تسقط الآن على قرية عابدين قريب هذا. اسمها رشاشات ثقيلة الآن. طبعا هاي واحدة من 7 أو 8 قذائف سقطت على القرية على منازل المدنيين. في حركة نزوح كبيرة من قبل الأهالي.
Yeah. So Israel is furthering its invasion into Syria. It is continuing to attack Lebanon. It is escalating its attacks on Gaza. Settler violence, with the blessing of the IDF, is continuing to escalate in the West Bank. And all of this is, of course, making any kind of peace talks between Iran and the United States basically untenable for the Iranians. And there's nothing I think positive that is going to happen here other than more and more violence, right? So, for example, the president here of Iran says, if the American side adheres to the Memorandum of Understanding, we will also fulfill our obligations. Our approach to unreasonable boasting and unfounded threats is to rely on rationality and human dignity in decision-making and decisive and fearless defense when taking action. And all of this is taking place as the United States is continuing to say, no, Iran won't have control over the Strait of Hormuz. No. Obviously, we can't have Donald Trump making a deal with Iran. And I just have to say here, there are talks scheduled for tomorrow, but I would not lift my hopes for them because J.D. Vance is apparently not attached to the delegation anymore. And instead, the talks will be held at a high level with Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff in attendance. Again, Jared Kushner, some random guy with no official position within the Trump administration, other than guy who I guess will get paid off by the Iranians for bribing an end to the war, maybe. Who can say? These are the two chuckle fucks who didn't understand what was being offered when negotiations with Iran happened the first time. And on top of that, apparently prior to these negotiations being greenlit, Witkoff and Marco Rubio addressed members of Congress on what was going to be talked about. So hopefully that is a sign that these talks are going to have some kind of official blessing from the Trump administration and from Donald Trump himself, and that actual progress can be made, because otherwise, like, it's all just show. It's all just show without any intent to actually set things to rest. While things in the United States, like Donald Trump, if you go on his social media, he's going back and forth. One minute he's threatening the total eradication of Iran yet again. The next minute he's talking about how, no, negotiations are going forward though. It's going back and forth in a way that is completely and utterly, I mean, if one were to say, it seems almost like he has severe dementia and is just kind of ping-ponging back and forth because he can't keep an idea in his head longer than 5 minutes. Well, I think that would be very much the case. How is our strategic oil reserve doing? I don't know. Donald Trump did say like a week ago that we only had 4 weeks of oil left if the oil stopped flowing. So who can say? Who can say? I guess we'll find out in 4 weeks or 3.5 weeks or 3 weeks, however long it's been since he said that. Super, super cool. And on the Iranian side of things, the rhetoric has also not de-escalated, which understandable. But worth pointing out that yesterday, Iranian state media put out an article titled "No Choice But to Build the Bomb." It was published by the Iranian outlet Fars. See the article here. And basically it argues that the IRGC should build a nuclear weapon. And of course, American media is freaking out over that because, frankly, that article doesn't get published without the go-ahead of the IRGC. And, like, frankly, okay, so it doesn't get published without the IRGC, but doesn't mean they're actually going to build it. And I don't think they are going to build it. But the fact that they're threatening to, I think, is definitely ratcheting up tension. And I do think that there is some truth to it, right? Geopolitically, one of the reasons we don't mess with North Korea is because they have nuclear weapons. And prior to that, they had enough conventional weaponry to very much wipe out Seoul with just conventional weapons. When it comes to Iran, they've now just proven that they have something that is akin to a nuclear weapon in the form of the Strait of Hormuz and control thereof. However, I do think that they still see the logistical relevancy of having a nuclear weapon. And given that the United States still isn't backing down from this insane position that Donald Trump has unilaterally put us all in, it's totally understandable that they're now saying in their media, hey, maybe we should build this bomb, though. It's so frustrating. Meanwhile, all of this to say it is providing Democrats with a direct line into a number of different candidates for 2028, notably John Ossoff, who's on the campaign trail for Senate, has been talking a lot about Donald Trump and Iran. And here he is in a 1:30 long clip.
A decade ago, Donald Trump attacked President Obama for lifting some sanctions to secure nuclear inspections and restrictions on Iranian enrichment. This month, Donald Trump was lifting sanctions just to reopen Hormuz. On Wednesday of this last week, he said the war was, quote, done. And then on Thursday, another ship was struck. On Friday, the president was bombing again. And last night, Iran attacked Bahrain. But see, this is what happens when you send your son-in-law, Jared, to cosplay as a diplomat. See, despite zero qualifications, Prince Jared was tapped to lead Middle East diplomacy. Now remember, Jared's slush fund, Affinity Partners, already got $2 billion from the Saudi Crown Prince. Did you know that? And even now, while negotiating for the United States over Iran and Gaza, he's actively asking Arab princes for billions more. Not for the United States, for his own business.
People are mad as fuck about everything that's happening right now. And, like, honestly, it's understandable. Like, the entire situation is a mess. This is one of the biggest military and diplomatic defeats the United States has ever endured. And it continues to get worse. The longer it goes on, the worse it gets for basically everybody on the planet. There's no upside for any of this. No one in America asked for this, other than, political war hawks from, elected in, the 1970s, 1980s. The rest of us, nobody wanted this. Nobody signed up for their oil prices going all over the place. Nobody signed up for the cost of everything to go up like crazy. No one signed up for killing thousands of people across the Middle East. Nobody signed up for this shit. Nobody wanted this. It was completely unnecessary. And Donald Trump went ahead and did it anyway and called himself a savior, and now he's stuck in a fucking political and military quagmire that we can't get out of. And he's already bored. He's so bored, he's checked out of it almost completely. At this point, I think the only phrase that really applies is that we have a peace fire. A situation where the United States, because Donald Trump doesn't want to look weak, doesn't want to end the war, and because Iran is fighting defensively, isn't going to end the war without, guarantees. And so it leaves us in this weird stalemate situation where every so often guns are fired, missiles are fired, bombs are dropped. And to what end? No one really knows. It's just so senseless. It's so senseless. So anyway, folks, the only solution to this is organizing. Organizing. The only way we stop Israel from its wars of aggression against its neighbors is by organizing and getting a progressive into office that will actually cut off the military aid to Israel that makes this aggression possible. The only way we bring about an end to this Iran conflict is by getting a progressive into office that is willing to end this and return to some semblance of the JCPOA. The only way we get out of this is by organizing. All right? So join your local Dems, join your local DSA. And if you got Warhawk Dems in your local party, get them out. Get them out. Out-organize them. Build up that people power. All right? So if you need help getting started, join our Discord. Reach out to Dragonfly for help organizing your local Dems. Reach out to Gamergy for help organizing your local DSA and organizing working people in your area. Organize. Okay, folks? Join your orgs. Go to the meetings. Do the bare minimum to build up our organized movement. Okay? Do you think we could even get something as good as the JCPOA with a new president? No. Of course not. Whatever deal is struck to end this pointless conflict is going to be infinitely worse than the JCPOA. We're going to have to pay reparations, and we will deserve to pay reparations for the damage we have done. All right? We will be getting shafted through this deal. And not only that, we're going to have to pay through the nose in some form and capacity for Iran not to toll the Strait of Hormuz. So whatever winds up happening, Iran is going to get a much better deal than what the JCPOA was. So all that being said, organize, folks. Organize, organize, organize. And if you got anything out of this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button, leave a comment, let me know what you think about this entire mess. How do we get out of it? I'd be interested in your ideas, how this ends in any way neatly. So, all that being said, check out ImogeneOlivia.com, gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes, tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It is comfortable, sexy lingerie that's non-tucking. Go check it out. ImogeneOlivia.com, link down in the description. Let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, Bane, and plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat.